What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. New episode. We are in September now. Lots of shows booked in advance. Still trying to slowly plough away to hit high level regional. And we start off this episode with GFC 23. We have a bunch more guys debuting too. We finally hit 200 fighters as well on our roster, which is pretty insane. I'm going to have to stop now for a while, like stop signing guys as they enter the game world because we don't really need them. But first up, we got Gorshin, who's main eventing against Wang. If Gorshin wins this fight, then I will probably book him and Go Yamamoto to fight for the first ever lightweight title, to be honest. It's looking very likely, so we'll see if he can come through. We also got Matthew Bell debuting, who, just to clarify, for anyone watching who maybe wants to try and sign the same guys as me, this guy doesn't exist. Basically, by mistake, I was messing around with the populate fighters editor because I wanted to see if I could populate random teams into the game, and I ended up populating one British welterweight fighter, and it was this guy. So I thought I would just pick him up since he was high level regional. And I gave him just a random crazy render with the monster icon on his chest. So he's like Monster's got sponsorship for life in this guy. He's not actually that bad, to be honest. National caliber jiu-jitsu, but rarely makes call-outs, and he comes in at 23 years old with a 3-0 record, but obviously he's got no track record. He just like plopped in through thin air. So we'll see how he gets on, I guess. We'll kind of follow him. Fujikawa's obviously looking for his another win. After he won his last fight, right after losing his debut to Jeff Carlton, he's going to capitalise. We got Anasina, the Russian, as well in action, the world caliber Sambo who won his debut, trying to capitalise. We got Janez Popik making his debut, another Russian, and he's a world caliber Sambo fighter, so that'll be interesting to see. Then we got another debut from the Scotsman in the welterweight class, Perry Is that supposed to be something in Scottish and I should probably know and I don't? But anyway, he comes in at high level regional straight off the bat, and he's a national caliber judo fighter, so good addition to welterweight as well. Then we got another debut in Muriseva, who's another Russian. So many Russians this card. And he's a national caliber Sambo guy as well. Then we got Bora, who lost his debut. He'll be trying to start on winning ways. We also have Tyrone Cuthill making his debut. I believe... Is it maybe Koyan? Yeah, both of those guys aren't really too much to write about considering the Russians that are debuting. And we also got Tim Boyer debuting as well. If you guys are familiar with the default database, you'll know Tim Boyer. He's pretty well known. Pretty big fighter and one of the promotions. It's just a shame that he comes into the game world at 25 and not younger. But he'll be a good addition to the heavyweight. And speaking of good addition to the heavyweight, let's see if he can win as the favourite on his debut, and he does. Decent rated second round finish, TKO strikes victory for Tim Boyer to go 1-0. We got Canada against England up next. I'm not really caring who wins. It's pretty evenly matched as well, both making their pro debuts. And it's England who wins by unanimous decision this time around. Average rated fight. I mean, these guys are good enough to get wins, I guess, but they won't really they'll never be in the title scene. They'll just be extra cannon fire in the 170-pound division. Hopefully here we can get 19-year-old Gagan Bora off to his first GFC win. Oh, he loses again. Split decision too. And it gets a good rating. Wow, Bora. I remember on my last save I had Bora, and he had probably about 15-20 fights in my promotion. He lost a fantastic too in his debut, and he was actually pretty good. He had like a pretty solid ratio record, but he's 0-2 in GFC, which isn't great, to be honest. Okay. It's a debut win for Pereira though, pretty good. First pro fight for him. Well, the hometown boys Knox the Tornado Herd is up against 18-year-old Maruseva, who makes his debut at the Sambo fighter. The betting lines have them pretty even. The Knox is not bad, to be honest, but yeah. We get an average rated split. Oh, it's a draw? Oh, okay. I saw split and I was about to say split decision, but then I saw draw. I really need to pay more attention on reading. Wow. So he draws on his debut. The first ever draw on the save too. You don't see them very often, to be honest. Okay, another debut. This time we got Perishira. Probably on paper, he's the best Scottish fighter I have, to be honest. So let's see if he wins. Hopefully he doesn't lose to Paul DeFell, the Welshman, who is really not good. Yeah, great rated fight too. First round Kimura finish. Nice debut. Oh, he's also calling it Ricardo Fernandez. Good debut for the Scotsman. Janez Houdini Popic, 18 years old. Our other national caliber. Oh, in fact, no, sorry, it was national caliber Sambo before, but I believe Janez is world caliber, so he's like top range on Sambo fighting, ground games, solid. And he'll. Huh? Wow, okay. Okay. I mean, it was Yamada he lost his debut to, but that's pretty surprising. I was expecting him to win, honestly. But huge for Arslanian as well. He'll be fine though, 18 years old. It's not the best debut for him, but the underdog wins. Well, we're not having the best of luck on the Russian debuts tonight. One drew, one loss. So let's see if Anasina can pull off a win here. He is the huge favourite, and see if he can go 2-0 for the 18-year-old, and he does. Good rated submission finish too, a knee bar. So that's nice. He goes 2-0. And he also called. Oh wow, Walter May. Walter May's still sitting first, I think, in light heavyweight, or no, not light heavyweight, welterweight, maybe, is it? Oh my god, I can't remember. But we haven't actually had a fight for Walter in so long. It's kind of poor booking this year. He's been very quiet compared to the first year. But good call out. Fujikawa, of course, lost his debut here. Let's see if he can come over Surakov, the 38-year-old. He should be able to, surely. Yeah. Knockout punch, first round, good rated fight. I'll take it. Finally gets his first win in GFC, and he calls out Fezzik again, which is okay. I think actually if they call him out again, it adds, it speeds up the momentum of the fight for it to hit nuclear or like white hot or whatever. So that's good. It's good that you just called him out again. Alright, GFC debut for Matthew Monster Bell, we're going to call him, because of this absolutely obnoxious tattoo he's got on his chest. I hope he wins, just so we can push him and use him. But that crazy monster tattoo he's got, he does. Good rated co-main event. Submission in the second round. Alright, here we go. Main event. Gorshin, huge favourite to stake his claim. It'll be the first title fight that I'll have like booked in a sense. We'll probably book to have it in December. Just before the end of the year, we'll start doing our title shows. We'll do them over December and January, I think. And try and put them into maybe 3 or 4 shows, because I don't know if all the name values will be high enough to do 5 cards, all with 10 fights. And there's no point in me doing prelims yet, because it's just hindering the popularity gains of my guys for literally no reason. But let's see if Gorshin can do it, and he does. Great rated first round finish. He'll lose to Go Yamamoto though, but I like Gorshin a lot, so it'll be nice for me personally to put them against each other for the first lightweight title. But it'll be pretty one-sided, I think, to Go Yamamoto. But you never know in this game. You never know who's going to win, which is why I love it. And he's recalling it Sean Morrison, who pretty much everyone is, to be honest, so I'm not surprised. 44 commercial, just shy of high level regional, which isn't actually great. So commercial wise, it wasn't the best. We also put this on Euro Sports Cable because I want to start taking a little bit more money, because if I get to around 2 million, I can make an advertising company with a pretty big reach in just the UK alone, and it'll help me gain popularity quicker in the UK. And it's something I never usually do that early in the game, but we're going to maybe go for it. We get almost 1,000 in attendance too, and we didn't have any huge names on the card. The Russians will probably take the most money because they have name value in Russia, so they costed more. So yeah, popularity is not good at all, but we should hopefully take a nice chunk of money. Gorshin can take. Will we give him fight night? Yeah, it makes sense. I think, considering he managed to get a great and he was main eventing, we'll give submission to Shida, and we will give KO to. Yeah, it pretty much has to go to Fujikawa. So yeah, 144k with ads and subs, which it doesn't really seem to change even with your name size. But we paid 54k to the fighters, which is pretty crazy. Anna Cena took a fair chunk, so did Matthew Bell, of course, sponsored by Monster. So he'll be taking even more once he gets his payment. But let's move on to the next show. Okay, we're back. Another show. We don't actually have any noticeable debuts on this card apart from two, and they're both actually against each other. And it's Christophe Lacazette, mid-level national from Canada. He makes a lot of money, so he'll take away about 20 grand, 20 G's if he wins. And he's very good, world caliber wrestler too. And he's fighting Desi Escovedo, who's also very good, high-level regional South American, all the way from Argentina, and he's a national caliber submission wrestler. So we'll see these guys a lot, probably, in light heavyweight. They'll put on some good fights for sure, but the rest, I'm pretty sure we know. You know, we got the likes of Yamada back in action. Ari Peltonen's making his second fight after winning his debut. Alvaro Negredo's back as well. Jonathan Mello makes his debut, but he's not really anything to write home about. David Carlos Ramos is back in action. And we got George main eventing with Malf Robbie co-main. We do have the chance, if George wins, he'll be the first fighter ever to win 6 fights in GFC, because he's 5-0 with us. I think we had the likes of Bingwen Park and maybe one or two others that are 6-0 already, but none of them have actually won 6 fights in GFC. So if George wins this, he's definitely going to be fighting for the light heavyweight title. And even though Anisim and Bingwen Park came into the division late, I think if Bingwen Park wins the main event for next show, spoiler alert, we'll probably have them to fight for the belt at the end of December, start of January. So we'll see if George can come through this against 3-0 Ito, who's not bad. He's not great. He's not great. George should be able to get the job done, but I mean, Ito's beaten 3 guys already and not lost, so his momentum's through the roof. David Carlos Ramos, slight underdog against the Bulldozer. He is still unbeaten though, Davey, after winning his debut, and he wins again. That's a good win, actually, against a solid opponent as well. 35 seconds into round 1, he gets the job done, the 24-year-old. Very good. The 18-year-old Scotsman, El Toro, is the underdog for this one against the Japanese Inukai, who is high-level judo, so nothing too crazy. But he is the favourite here, and he loses in a fantastic fight as well. We've not seen one of these in a while. El Toro gets the win, knockout punch, second round, fantastic win for his second win of his career. And he calls out Sean Morrison. Wow. Why are they all calling out Sean Morrison and he's not even here? And it's not even like he's got huge name value. And maybe it's Sean's personality or something that comes into factor. I'm not really sure how the game dictates the call-outs, if it's totally randomised or what. But so many people keep calling out Sean. It's so weird. He's literally going to come back from the Olympics and have about 6 nuclear heated challenges. He's going to be literally booked in a nuclear fight every few months for like a year, literally about a year or two. It's going to be crazy. Next up, we got the Battle of Japan. These two are pretty evenly matched. They're both kind of high-level fighters at their craft. They're not too crazy. Both 18 years old, both still unbeaten. And it's a great fight. Kitahara gets the win. The Aikido over the freestyle wrestler. And a great rated first round finish too. And he's also calling it Anasina, who's the big Russian guy we have right now. One of the many, actually. We have a few that are very good Russian fighters. And yeah, good. Great victory. Stays unbeaten. And a call out. It doesn't get any better than that. Well, we got Jonathan Mellon, who's already 2-0, making his debut against Alvaro, who won his debut with GFC. Alvaro, of course, one of the few guys who we've got in the lightweight, who's really a featherweight, but we've got him in. Now, Negredo isn't actually all that good either, to be honest. I believe he has a brother too. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's another Negredo brother in a higher weight class who's much, much better than this. I know there's the Bollard brothers. I think it's Ashley and oh god, I can't remember the other one's name. The American guys, the American bald guys, and it's their brothers. They almost look like twin brothers. They're so similar. But I'm pretty sure there's another Negredo that's due. Because I always think of Negredo and then I think of him being so good, but this one isn't. He's not really that good. I'm pretty sure he's got a brother. It's going to annoy me now. And when the time comes that his brother comes into the game, I'll probably totally forget that I even had this little debate with myself. But let's see if he wins. He is the favourite. Yeah, he does. Great rated fight too. I had a lot of good fights this card. It goes the whole distance though, but still a great rating, which is pretty impressive to be honest. But I'll take it. He goes 2-0. Alright, here we go. Miguel Florio, who won his debut, to go 4-0 up against Ari, who's the huge favourite. I actually like Ari a lot. He's not like amazing, but he's like, I'm sure accomplished, right? Yeah, accomplished boxer and accomplished sambo, which you don't really see a lot of, more than one sort of fight trait that they're very good at. He's not amazing, as you can see, but he's fairly well rounded. You know, he can fight on the ground, he can submit you, he can maybe knock you out. Maybe not with 65% boxing power, not all the time, but let's see if he can knock off the reins of Florio and give him his first loss. He does. With an Americana finish submission with 55 seconds to go in round 1. That's a very good one for him, actually. 2-0 as well. Well, we've got 33-year-old Mantis, who actually, on the betting lines, Mantis almost beats everyone, which is kind of funny. He is pretty solid, to be honest. He's the only guy as well who's in a team right now because he has his own team, which is kind of worrying me because when I populated Matthew Bell into the game, the guy with the monster logo on his chest, it was because I was trying to get teams because all my fighters are based in Europe. No, in the UK. But I think if they're all based in the UK, then they won't join teams that are based anywhere else in the world. So I might have a bit of a weird scenario where I have like 400 fighters all in the UK, but there's only maybe 2 or 3 teams in the UK, and I don't know how it will work. I guess time will tell, and if it is, then I'll find a way to fix it. So a lot of my fighters are in teams, a lot of my good fighters anyway. But we could only really pick him up against Yamada. Like I don't think he's even fought this year. He did. It's kind of even more surprising now that George beat him, to be honest, is on this card. But Yamada should be able to overcome him. Yeah. Knockout first round finish. Decent rating, which isn't the best, but 3-0 for Yamada. He's in the same boat as Fezzik, where he's slowly creeping up the ranks, and it's just a matter of time before they get to the top spot, and then they either win the belt or take it when the first championship goes on, and they're pretty much not going to lose it. But yeah, we'll see. Both guys 1-0. Battle of the wrestlers here. KKK, big favourite. We already know. We know KKK. He is very, very good. Yeah, gets the job. Oh, it gets a poor though. We don't like that, so let's just move on. He does win, and he calls out Ari, who of course won earlier in the card, to also go 2-0, which would be a good fight. KKK, I think, would probably beat him though, to be honest. He's just he's very, very good at wrestling. But okay, he wins, and that kind of makes up for the fact that it got a poor rating, but we move on. Alright, the 2 debuts, the 2 big boys who, regardless of who loses, both of these guys are 18. They're fighting on their pro debuts, and they're both very good wrestlers, and they'll win. Like, it doesn't matter. They'll win in light heavyweight. There's no way they're going to go 0-3 and get cut or whatever. It's just a bit. It's almost a shame, in a sense, that we're putting them against each other so soon in their careers. But I also kind of like this aspect because it means in 10 years' time, when they're like in their primes, they both might sort of come out of nowhere and come into the title scene, and it'll be quite interesting to look back and think, oh my god, remember these guys actually fought on their debuts 10 years ago, and they're about to fight again like 10 years on, when they're both on like 5-10 winning streaks or something. It's just all the possibilities that can happen. It makes it exciting. You have to always look for the positives. But it's Christoph who gets the upper hand, gets the bragging rights for now. But yeah, these guys both being 18, light heavyweights, the chances of these 2 guys meeting again down the line in years to come it's pretty realistic. And it's the big underdog too, Christoph, which we can't really take too much into account because it's their pro debuts. But 5'9" against 6'2" as well, that's pretty impressive because I'm about 5'9". So 6'2" to 5'9" is like, wow. And the fact he wins too. Does he call anyone out? No, but looks forward to another fight soon. So he's taking about 20 grand from this, which is okay. That's not great. I think we're actually on Eurosports cable again, or it's the next fight maybe. Okay, let's wrap this up. I'm blabbing on a bit too long here. Big favourite. Malfi Robbie gets the win. Decent way to co-main event. Unanimous decision, which isn't the best, but he's also calling out Nigel Malley, my boyfriend. Well, my second boyfriend. Don't tell Go Yamamoto. But we like Malley. He's an interesting character. Interesting call out actually. And here we go, Battle of the Unbeaten's huge favourite George. If he wins this, he's 100% one half of the light heavyweight belt that'll be in December, January. Imagine he loses now. That would be so heartbreaking after all this build-up and all the fights he's had. His 6th fight in 2 years. Oh, he wins. Great rated second round, which saves the pretty poor co-main event that we had, to be honest. Yeah, fighters are avoiding him because they know he's unbeatable. It'll be interesting though. I'm trying to think who he'll fight. It'll probably be Bingwen Park if he comes through the main event of next show. But 55%, we just hit low national with a fantastic 76 critical. We finally break the barrier of over 1,000 in attendance. We should take money even though we had one or two bigger names like Lacazette on this. 1.8% popularity too. That's the most I think in a while anyway. We'll give fantastic, you know what, we'll give KO and fight to Kang because we don't see many fantastics, it's only fair. And we'll give submission to KKK since it was the only great submission of the whole show. So yeah, Kang takes just shy of 20k. We make 54. Even though he took 20, we only actually paid out 39,000 to the fighters, which is the lowest in a while, to be honest. So I'll take it, you know, that's not bad. 86,000 to the gate. Okay, nice. Let's move on. Next show, we'll see if Bingwen Park wins the main event to fight George Laurent for the first light heavyweight title. Okay, you guys might be confused. Maybe you haven't realised, but I kept referring to the winner of this main event with Bingwen. If Bingwen Park wins, he'll fight for the title against George Laurent. But what I meant to say was Bingwen Park will fight for the title, but it'll be against Rob Baines because it's the middleweight. I was getting the middleweight and the light heavyweight mixed up. We actually have quite a few guys right behind Bingwen Park who are also fighting in this card. So if Bingwen Park fails to win, we got Anisim and Fernando Amaro, who are also both middleweights right behind him in the rankings. So for example, if Bingwen Park loses and Amaro wins, it'll go to Amaro. But if they both lose and Anisim wins, then it goes to Anisim. And if Bingwen Park wins, then it'll be Bingwen Park to face Rob Baines. We also got Bernard, who lost to George Laurent in the light heavyweight class, looking to bounce back. He's up against Leon Banks, Bryson Evans, who won his debut, is back in action. Lars Bolin, who's 5-0, 2-0 with us, back in action too. Joe Hinchcliffe, who also is 2-0, back in action. Ishida and Fragoso both lost their debuts. Getting their first win, Roberto Aldes is up against Toshisha. Both of them also need a win. And we got Robert Adelman, who's a national caliber submission wrestler making his debut from Texas, 18 years old, against Egawa, who's making his debut from Japan, but we're hoping Robert gets the win there. Okay, let's see if we can start the show with no real surprises here. Adelman on his debut gets a unanimous decision win. Would have been nice to see a finish, but it wasn't to be. Great rated though for the 18-year-old on his debut. Okay, slight mix-up on this one. I got Roberto the Sniper Aldes mixed up with Ferreras. I think his nickname's TNT Ferreras. Aldes is actually the guy who beat Faz Smith on his debut. It was actually pretty impressive. He's kind of pretty well rounded as well. I remember being a pretty big fan. I just got his names mixed up, which is my fault. But hopefully he can capitalise. He is the huge favourite. Yeah, it goes to unanimous decision again. Another decision fight. And this one only gets an average. But he does get the win. We don't really need to say too much about this. None of these guys are too great, to be honest. And this also goes to decision. Great rated win for Ishida, which puts Fragoso on the fence. If he loses one more fight, he'll be getting the axe from the promotion. Both of these guys are still unbeaten, but we have pretty much the 23-year-old Joe, the Hitman Hinchcliffe, to capitalise. He's got a bit more about him. you know, a bit more progress to his game, and he gets the win, and it's the first finish of the night, and it's a submission finish, like when it's two kickboxers against each other, which is pretty funny because these guys don't really have too great a ground game. But good win for Joe. The first finish of the night, and he gets a good rating. He also thinks Kitahara, who I believe fought last card. Oh gosh, maybe not. I took a little break there, so even though you guys are seeing it all in one video, I can't remember now. We have so many people. It's pretty crazy, but it's another call out to add to the list. Pretty easy fight actually, this one for Lars, who will be only the second ever person to go 6-0 through our promotion, even though it's not been 6 fights with us. But he wins. It also goes to decision. Gosh, so many decisions this card. Decent rating. Alright, here we go. We got our money on Bryson Little Dynamo Evans to win, who reminds me of like a Nigel Malley. But the good thing about Bryson is he actually has some pretty good defense on the ground if he gets taken down. And his wrestling's actually very good. But he's never really someone that kind of propels on any of the G-verse. He kind of falls off in the light heavyweight when more of the really, really good guys come into the game. But let's see if he means as he looks to go on here. He lost. Oh wow, he lost. That's a bit of a blow for him. He is only 18 though. He has a very good chin. That's pretty impressive for Thierry. He'll go 2-0 after he beat Tanyu, who's pretty useless. Wow, good rating. First round as well. Being a heavy underdog helped motivate him in training. I mean, is this upset of the year? Probably not, but it is a huge upset. Here we go. Bernard, who lost to George, is up against Leon Banks, who's got one of the most scuffed records. Him and Frank Analysis are on the same boat. Although the funny thing about this is, the two people that Leon Banks has lost to is Edilberto and Elgar, and both of those guys are booked up to fight, and the winner of that fight will fight... they're not booked up to fight each other, sorry, but if Edilberto wins, then he will fight George Laurent for the light heavyweight title, who of course beat Bernard. And if he loses, then it'll go to Elgar if he manages to win. So it's funny how it all connects together with these two. But the favourite Leon Banks pulls through on his 6th fight of his career to get his 4th win, TKO first round finish, good rating. Here we go, the first of 3 in the middleweight class to see who will fight Rob Baines. Fernando Amaro is a huge favourite, and he sinks in his teeth further, putting more pressure on Bingwen Park to pick up the win, because now Amaro goes 4-0, good rating, armbar finish. Next up we got Anisim, who's actually a slight underdog against Wade. But if Anisim does win, he's not really that good though, he's okay. But if he does win, then he'll be sitting on the waiting lines in middleweight. The 3rd best middleweight in the world too, but I think he might lose this, I have a feeling. Yeah, he does. Great rating. Wow. To crush his 5-0 record. Wade hands him, the 31-year-old, hands him the first loss of his career in a great rated co-main event. And here we go, Bingwen Park, the Aikido 6-0. He'll be the first guy to go 7-0, pretty much in the whole world. Huge favourite against the high-level Kung Fu fighter. Let's see if we're going to have another upset. Nope. And it's a great rating as well. TKO strike, first round finish. Bingwen Park secures his spot, more or less, even though it's only his 3rd fight with us. He's pretty much just secured his spot to fight Rob Baines for the middleweight title. Okay. And he's called him out too, that's literally perfect. I think they'd already called each other out, so maybe he's just adding to the heat, maybe not, I could be wrong. But I'll take it. 50% commercial as well, in the high level regional. We also broadcasted this on Eurosports, because it was a little lower on commercial, so we can take a bit more money. Because I want to try and get, I think we need about 2 million, 2.5 million. Oh god, it might actually be more, I think it might be, where we can have a pretty decent sized range on an advertising company. So we need the money. And we didn't have any guys on this card that were like amazing in terms of base pay that we're giving out. Let's give Amaro can take sub of the night. Fight of the night can go to yeah, sure, just to spread it out. And KO can go to Bingwen. Yeah, so 215k we take. Pretty solid chunk of money. Bingwen Park takes away the most. Lars takes away a fair chunk. Thierry, who won, pretty upset. The scorecards on that one. So yeah, let's move on to the last show of the episode. Okay, last show of the episode, which is our second out of 4 shows we have booked in October. This one commercially isn't really great, and it also didn't help that one of the fights just got cancelled with Balagot, who won his debut against Glenn Pim, which wasn't really high up on the card anyway. But we're down to 9 fights. Most of them we don't actually care about until we get to the top 4, where we have Ricardo Fernandez, who, if he wins this fight, is pretty much fighting for the welterweight title, the first welterweight title. We got Harry Milne, who wasted Stafford Zal's perfect winning streak and gave him his first loss of his career, and now he's trying to do the same against Gunnar Nelson. So that'll be interesting to see if he can do it twice. We got Elgar, who is competing with Edalberto to fight George Laurent, but if Edalberto wins his next fight, it'll probably be him, just based purely on more wins than Elgar. But you'll want to keep that momentum going and win. Matthew Dean will want to secure another win, but I don't know if we'll have him fight for the first middleweight title. I don't think we will at this point, but he'll be wanting to stay unbeaten. And the rest of the fights are just meh. Maybe Sakta. I kind of want him to win. Because he's not a bad fighter, and it was a surprise he lost his debut. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Just complete filler fight. I don't really care who wins. I guess Amaya, because he's younger. But if he loses, in fact, the loser of this will get cut. Yeah, I think so. Let's see who's losing their job. And it's Amaya who loses. Submission triangle with armbar. Great rated fight. Nakajima picks up a win to go 2-3. Next up we got Ratton, who's one of the worst guys you'll ever see in your life. He's got a little bit of boxing power, and that's about it. Oh my god, never mind, he must have heard me. And it's fueled him with anger to win. A first round of 31 seconds on his debut. Okay, Ratton, I see you, dude. I'll never say a bad thing about you ever again. Geoff, the big favourite on this one, to go back on winning ways. The 31-year-old comes through. Unanimous decision win. Only decent rating. But he hands Santos the second loss of his career. Well, it's a shame to say it, but my second boyfriend, gorgeous Ralph Puss, will be cut from the roster if he loses this, and he is the underdog. And poor Ralph, I'll miss his gorgeous little face. He was the only one in the whole roster with any real sex appeal, which is a shame that now he's gone. But 19-year-old Sakta beats him to get his first win in GFC with a great rated fight, and he demands a fight with Bingwen Park. Interesting call out. High level punctuation fighter on this one, Dragos, 18 years old on his debut. Let's see if he can pull through. He is the favourite. Oh, he loses to Hashiguchi. Round 1, 14 seconds to one of the quickest fights. Wow, that's his first win with GFC too. And what a way to win, 14 seconds. And he responds by calling out Walter May. Nice, more call-outs, we like it. Here we go, unbeaten Ricardo. Let's see if he can pull off the win. He is the favourite. Nice, he does. Goes the distance, but he gets a decent rating out of it, and he now hits 5-0. Which he'll pretty much be in the welterweight title scene now. Whoever it is we're going to put him up against. Not really too much to say about this. We're pretty much gifting Matthew Dean wins at the moment, but then again, that's just the way it is. And it's not even, I feel like I talk about him a lot in like a really good sense. But I swear, guys, my whole history with Matthew Dean, I've never seen him lose a fight, ever. And I probably played, I probably simulated about 30 fights with 30 different opponents through 2 different saves, and he's never lost, and he's never even looked close to losing. So if he loses this fight to Alberto, I might as it's just my mind's going to be blown. Yeah, good rated first round finish, 5-0. Matthew Dean. Enough said. Here we go, co-main event, 2 unbeaten. Elgar's slight favourite going into it, and he wins knockout kick in round 2. Good rated co-main event for him to go 4-0 to pretty much checkmate Adalberto for his upcoming fight, to put more pressure on him to win, or he'll step into that 205-pound title fight instead. And there we go, main event. Like I said, commercial probably won't be too great this show to end the episode, but let's see if Harry Milne can pull off another upset after being Stafford Al, if he can do the same to Nelson, who is the slight favourite going into it. It's not to be. Average rated main event, a 5 round, goes to decision. Yeah, Gunnar Nelson's ground game is what won it for him. Although he was winning the stand up too, ever so slightly, but yeah, he was with the power punch. Okay, Nelson seemed to disband of Harry Milne with no real issues, being slightly heavier, in fact way heavier, and bigger opponent. He got the job done to go 4-0. And we take 43%. So we should take pop, but it probably won't be a lot, but we are back on SportsTube. And our gate, of course, wasn't really as high. I think I actually made this card when a lot of other fights in advance were booked, and I tried to squeeze this one in just because there was so many fresh guys on the roster at the time. I mean, we'll still take pop. It's just not going to be as good as some of the other cards recently, but it's still a win. We'll still take money as well. Sakta can take fight and KO, since it's pretty much the only great fight on the whole card. In submission to go to Nakajima, since he also got great. Let's see money. Yeah, 57k. We only paid 10,000 to fighters, which is, I don't even know when was the last time it was that low. Probably way back at the start on the first episode. So I'll take it. Actually, you know, this is a win. We take away almost 60k. We gain, what was it, 1.1% pop. So happy days. I'll see you guys next time.